Let's get some analysis now on the impact of the collapse from Dennis Kelleher. He's the president and CEO of Better Markets, a nonprofit that works to promote economic security for Americans. Dennis, thank you so much for sharing part of your Saturday with us. As Matt pointed out, most experts are saying that this is likely an isolated incident, that there will not be a contagion or a domino effect to the scale of 2008. You argue, though, that this failure will almost certainly lead to more bank failures. Why?
Well, it has to be remembered, and first, thanks for having me on, and good morning. Matt did a very good setup here, but you have to remember that there were three key drivers of this bank failure. The first one was the mismanagement of the bank. The second one is the impact of the Fed's interest rate hikes. And the third one is the lack of regulation and supervision due to deregulation, which, by the way, the CEO of Silicon Valley Bank personally lobbied for back in 2015, 16, 17. And so some of the characteristics of Silicon Valley Bank are unique, but some are common to many other banks. The unique ones Matt talked about well. The common ones arise from the interest rate actions of the Fed. They're jacking up interest rates. They've jacked them up higher and at a faster pace than almost any time in history. In about 6 months, they went from zero interest rates to about 4.5%. When interest rates go up, asset values go down. That's actually one of the intended consequences. So it bursts bubbles like the tech bubble, the crypto bubble, and others. But it also catches banks' balance sheets in a vice because their assets go down. This particular bank had a lot of interest rate sensitive assets. And so its assets went down a lot, which is what ultimately precipitated the run. But it was also its unique characteristics of its business mix and high risk business model. But there are other banks out there that are struggling to be able to readjust their portfolios and balance sheet to take account of these significant interest rate increases. And some of those banks got the light touch lack of regulation and lack of supervision that Silicon Valley Bank got also.
And so what's your estimate of the extent of the exposure? How would you compare this to the 2008 financial crisis?
Well, it's interesting, this is almost 15 years to the day that Bear Stearns failed in March of 2008, which really was the starting gun for the 2008 crash. And back then, you'll recall, all the regulators and elected officials all said, don't worry, everything's under control. We don't expect anything else to happen. And they all said that in good faith, and I bet most of them believed it, but they can't see the future back then any more than we can see the future now. So the good news is the regulators are all meeting and working today, looking at all the other banks, or a bunch of the banks that are of the same size, Category 4 banks, which is what Silicon Valley Bank was, to see whether or not the lack of regulation and supervision over the last 4 or 5 years, particularly during the Trump administration, has caused unseen risks to increase where they don't know about them, and they're evaluating their balance sheets, their assets and liabilities, to see whether or not the similarities are anywhere near the extent of the Silicon Valley Bank. Importantly here, as you mentioned, about 80+% of the depositors here were uninsured. That's highly unusual. And so they're looking for that at other banks. And the problem here is if you don't end up paying for the uninsured depositors at other banks are going to look at their bank, and they're not going to sit around and wait to see whether or not their bank has similar problems. So you create a run risk on other banks, even if those banks do not have the same problems.
I'm wondering what happens to those depositors. I believe some 97% of SVB's depositors were over that $250,000 threshold that the FDIC insures. What happens to that money?
Well, unfortunately, that money is not going to be paid to them very quickly. It looks like they're going to get what's called an advanced dividend by the FDIC within a week, they said, of unknown amount. And they're going to otherwise get what are called receivership certificates, so that as the FDIC liquidates the bank and raises cash from sales, that some of those sale proceeds will be paid to the uninsured depositors. Although keep in mind, there are other creditors circling the bank and they're going to want money too. An underlying problem here, however, Boris, is that all these big companies, frankly, should have known better putting all their money into Silicon Valley Bank. Everybody in that community virtually was putting their money into Silicon Valley Bank in the millions and tens of millions of dollars, including their payroll, their cash management, their receivables management. And frankly, those people should have been more responsible when they're deciding where they're going to put their money. There was hyper concentration risk here. Those depositors, we're talking about business here. We're not talking about Main Street Americans. They don't have $250,000 to put in a bank. Main Street Americans are going to be fine because they don't have $250,000. They're below the threshold. They'll get paid. They're insured. The FDIC is going to cover them. But the businesses and the big dogs who have got lots of money and put millions of dollars in Silicon Valley Bank, frankly, should have known better. They should have done their due diligence. They should have paid attention to Silicon Valley Bank's disclosures, which some people have said since January was a screaming red flag that there were problems coming at Silicon Valley Bank.
Yeah, and as you noted with interest rates, the Fed has been telegraphing that they will continue raising rates along with inflation mostly staying where it's been, hovering over 6% the last few job reports. Dennis Kelleher, we got to leave the conversation there. Thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.